interview because we are in the middle of a pandemic and all we can do right now for an interview. But today I have my buddy Hannah, and we are going to be talking about how it's different between having a disability in the United States versus the United Kingdom. So do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me, Anna. My name's Kenneth, and I have CP, cerebral palsy, and I live in the UK, and I'm very passionate about disability. That's why I followed your channel, Anna, on YouTube, because I'm very into and very interested in disability rights, and very into helping people to change the way society looks at people with disabilities and accepts them in society.
Definitely, we all need to do that. And yeah, he asked me one of my Bible, he asked me one of you guys. So if you ever want to reach out to me on other social media, I'm always down to talking to you, and you have interest in the disability community, I would love to know about it and maybe work with you. I know Hannah reached out to me on Instagram, and that's the best way to get a hold of me, and all that information is down in the description box down here. So if you are somebody like Hannah who would like to reach out to me, please do. So anyway, we'll get started. So my first question is, I know you have cerebral palsy. Can you explain how your daily life is affected by it?
Yeah, my cerebral palsy, I find it really hard to sort of do as much. Well, I want to do more than I can do. In that I get really tired easily. So I find it really hard to do. I want to do more than I can do. And it makes me feel very tired a lot.
Right.
But I try to stay positive as much as I can. Really, I do get very depressed with how tired I get.
Yeah, and it's important that you're new to my YouTube channel. The number one thing to remember is everybody who has cerebral palsy is affected by it differently. So cerebral palsy,
I agree.
Cerebral palsy is not a one type of disability for all people. So make sure before assuming that somebody has a certain type of any disability, not the cerebral palsy, you do your research and maybe ask the individual about their disability and try and learn how you can best be a friend to them, or whatever they prefer. I know I have practiced how to prevent cerebral palsy. I did a video about that, so please check it out down here if you would like to know about it. I just wanted to put that out there so you know that Kenneth and I do have the same disability, but we have different variations of it. Do you have anything to add about that?
Yeah, I agree with that, Anna. Everyone's different. Everyone's individual. Everyone's disability is different to different individuals. You know, like I can go out and do lots of walking on flat spaces as I fall over. But well, I have done. But I find it really hard to, you know, sort of use like treadmills or stuff. I can do them, but I get more tired than I do if I'm doing normal walking,
Right.
because I can sort of do it at my pace. You know what I mean? Like I can go for a bit, sit down, stop, do a bit more.
Definitely.
What helps me really.
Yep. And another point to make: not everybody will have a party unit or a wheelchair.
No, exactly.
That's important to note too, because I know how many you watch in the video might be like, oh, well, you use a walker, you know. And yeah, I do, but not everyone will have a party and a walker. So, and that can be, any disability, autism, you know, any disability has discrimination. So I'm out now. Anyway, my next question is, I know you've been in the UK. Can you explain how living with a disability there, can you or a child may or be different from the USA? For example, going to school, doctor's appointment, the services available like physical therapy, occupational therapy, or speech therapy?
Yeah. Well, I can't remember much when I was a child, but from what I can remember, from what my dad's told me as well, that you get more services when you're a young person in school or education than you do when you're an adult. You sort of disappear off the planet when you're an adult, in my eyes. But I think when I went to a mainstream school, and I saw in one of your other blogs, Anna, that your experience of school. I went to a mainstream school from a special school. I went to a special school from year 7 to year 11. And then I went from there. I decided I wanted to change to sort of try to get used to people in society without disabilities to accept me into their groups and into their way of working. And 2, I wanted to do more proper work like anyone else in society would do. Just because I've got a disability doesn't mean I can't do other things what special schools don't always do.
Yeah.
So I went to a mainstream school, and I hated it, to be honest. Absolutely hated it. In that they didn't accept me into their how do I put it? Their groups.
Yeah, they didn't have. I know what you mean. So basically, I want to define what Kenneth is talking about.
Yes, I was about to say, so everyone else knows exactly what I mean.
Yeah, so basically, when you have a disability, and it's like this here in America too, you have 2 options. One, you go to a mainstream school, which would be a public school, or a public school district run in the county or city, wherever you go, and that could be you're with a lot of people without disability, but yet that who also have an advocacy program. If you don't know what advocacy stands for, it's called Tackle for District, and that's the program for disabled people. So you are automatically go to that school. You go into a main school, and you have a case manager who will help you with your IEP, and IEP is an individual education plan. And that's a document that basically tells you, I need help going to the bathroom, I need help in the classroom, writing my notes, typing my document, whatever you need. I need help moving up and down, sitting. I need help walking, whatever it may be. That's a document that will provide you all those services. It also tells the people in the school district that you might need 30 minutes of therapy, and then the school will bring in a therapist once or twice a week to help you do your exercises in your school day, or maybe you need.
Well, it didn't do that for me, but yeah, that's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, well, so that's what a mainstream school is. But also, they have, if you decide that maybe, I don't know, you have a more severe disability that you need, or maybe you have a disability and don't want to be in the main team because you want more help or whatever. They have poor districts that are devoted to people with disabilities. And I don't know, I've never been in one of those schools, so I can't tell you guys what that looks like. But if you have been in a special school for people with disabilities, please comment down below what your experience was like.
Yes, I was about to say it'd be really interesting to find out what other people's experiences are, because I found special schools are good in some ways, like everyone accepts you to start with, generally. But the other ways is that you're not tested enough in that, tested in the way of like doing like GCSEs, all the sort of things, and you're sort of put in a bubble.
Yep, you're not. They don't lift you and
Bubble wrapped.
Yeah, they.
Is my saying.
They
don't like to bubble wrap you, so you don't see what real life's real life is about.
That is a question explanation, but so if you've been in a school before, I would like to know down in the comments, and please DM me because I want to know, and I might even want to interview you if you either have been in a school or you work there, whatever. I would love to know what it's like. But I definitely hear what Hannah is saying. They probably affect you more at a special school because everybody has a disability and everyone's going through the same thing. Whereas when you are in a public school, you are the odd one out. You are in the oddball, and no one.
Well, you can be, but you see, the group I was in with were all people with disabilities the same as me, who most of them had been through mainstream school most of their lives, they said. It didn't help that one of the girls I used to go to junior school with happened to be there and told everyone lies about me. But regardless of that, it sort of, I felt like the outsider, yeah, because you sort of try to explain that you're not any different to anyone else in society. You've come from a special school, and doesn't mean you're any different to anybody else. But people's exception of that is a lot different to what it should be, because I used to always get a taxi to school with my sister who went to the same school as me. And that sort of made me stick out a little bit, really, because they all look at me as I was different, because why'd I get a taxi and they got a bus? Where was the real life in that, they were thinking. Even they didn't know where I lived.
I know, and I don't think people really know the appropriate. I don't think people know the appropriate way to interact with people sometimes. And I think when you, who are someone like me, throughout my whole year of actually high school, I think when you have a adult attached to you 24/7, people get a little intimidated because
Yeah.
they see another person next to you, and don't know if that person is who they are supposed to be talking to, or are they supposed to be talking to you, or do they completely avoid you, or do they, what are they supposed to do? They don't know. And so it was very hard for me to meet people in high school and in general, but I eventually found ways to meet them. And I have a video on my high school experience. I will put it down here as well if you would like to watch that video and learn more about American school and public school and all that. But yeah, do you have?
Because I think my thing with the school, still going on about that.
Uh-huh.
I think my thing with it is because it's still a big thing in the UK, and I don't know what it's like over where you are, but I'm sure there's still ways they need to improve on accepting people in. From what your video said about feeling accepted, and people accepting that if you need to say to your parents, oh, before I can go anywhere, I need to check with my parents first. People go, well, I won't invite you then, because you can't just say to me there and then, yeah, I'm coming, see you tonight, sort of thing. And they look at you differently then. But when I was at school, some of the people in the mainstream part of the school, I call it, the main school, I'll say, they sort of, when they knew I had a disability, they were like, oh, bless you, is there anything we can do to help you? And I'm like, that's a bit patronizing.
No,
And that's what you were saying, weren't you? That people sometimes don't know how to respond to people with disabilities.
And then they do, I talk about this too. People also do baby treating. And that's my word for people treating us like baby. They talk to us like a baby, or everything we do has to be the hey, yay, excitement kind of thing. And I'm like, yeah, you can be excited that I did that, but you don't have to be like, oh, yeah, you were doing it. Like, I was at a park the other day walking, and I was walking, I do a map around my park all the time, and two ladies came up to me and was like, I'm so proud of you, and you're like, hey.
And you think, yeah, and what have you, you think then to yourself, don't you? You think, well, aren't you proud of what you've done as well? Why am I any different?
Right.
But they don't look at it like that.
I'm like, you're walking around the park. How am I? We're doing the exact same thing. You're pushing a baby car, and I'm in my walker walking. What ridiculous. So I think people don't understand that. So yeah. But my next question is, I know you live in the UK, and you explain how living with a disability there when you are an adult may look and or be different from the USA. For example, in-home caregivers, care homes, job opportunities, who are disabled, or anything else you want to add to that list.
Yeah. As me and you have been discussing at the very beginning, haven't we, Anna? That I used to volunteer at a company in the UK called Change. I'm allowed to say that because they work up and down the country making accessible information for people with disabilities. And I did some work going around, and I'll resend it to you. Going around talking to people, advocates, self-advocates, and advocates about how they can, how they want to be treated on, you know, with having, with living in care homes. So I made.
Can I add something? A care home, I know a few that maybe don't know what that is. That is here in America, we don't call them care homes. They're assisted living homes. So that means that if you have a disability and maybe you want to live with other people with disability, you can do so, and in that assisted living home, they will bring people in to take care of you as opposed to you living at home and hiring your own care because maybe you'd rather live in a community with other disabilities. I just wanted to clarify that. Go ahead.
That sort of exact. Oh well, they are called care homes in the UK, but they used, because we used to have a lot of assessment and treatment units. That's what I did a lot of work on, moving people out of assessment and treatment units in the UK and trying to get them a discharge date.
Yeah,
and making the pastor know about advocates, self-advocates.
I don't know what that. I don't know what that is, and I don't know if my viewers would know what that is. Do you want to explain what?
Assessment and treatment unit.
Yep.
Yeah, an assessment and treatment unit is like it's like it's hard to explain. I would say, I was going to say it's a bit like a hospital because I think they're very much like that. And there was a big thing on in England on assessment and treatment unit called Winterbourne View, what I did a lot of work on. And they so you sort of you get generally in assessment and treatment unit you get like you get.
So I'm gonna read that and listen to you guys, and I'm also going to put it right here when I'm editing the video. Put it right here. Okay. So if you don't understand, you may read along with me on the bottom. Okay. An assessment and treatment unit is a type of inpatient unit. It is a place where people look after someone rather than decide if patients needing to challenge your rights. If you are in an assessment treatment unit, person has a mental health problem and a mental health problem and what treatment this person might need help with. So basically, it is a hospital. We'll put it that way. And yeah, go ahead. Now that they know what that is.
Yeah, and so I did a lot of work on that and helped them to be able to feel like they were listened to by the society, because for them it's easier to put them into assessment and treatment unit than putting them into the community and finding them PAs or carers. There's a lot of people will actually probably know the word carers better than the word PA.
Yeah, and I'm gonna add what a PA is because that's another word people can know. A PA is a personal assistant, so someone that helps you with your daily life. not to be confused with an office or anything like that. If they give me a nurse, but they don't have to be qualified as a nurse. So that's how I put it. If they could be my companion, someone who can be there and hang out with you, but yet provide ongoing care that you need.
Yeah, because that's what I've got. I used to live in a care home, but I don't like them. So I now live on my own on a personalised budget, and it means you've got more flexibility to be able to do more, and you've got more flexibility to use that money to support you better for, like, you know, for you, the hours are more flexible.
Yep.
So,
and I don't know about you, but here in America, you can hire anybody that you want, as long as it's not a family member.
That's exactly what you can do here too. You can hire anybody you want, and then you go for an interview stage, and then you decide if you want to employ them or not, depending on how good they are.
Yeah, here in America, there is no interview process. You just have to fill out papers. That's all that you have to do, and then report their hours to the company that makes you that money, and then they reimburse you. So and how may you say in a much different than the U.S. when it comes to living with a disability as an adult. It sounds like you pretty much have the same things that we do. It might be called something different, but that's the main thing. My math, what is one thing you wish people knew about when it comes to living with a disability in the United Kingdom or in general?
I think there needs to be more. People need to be more aware that people with disabilities are the same as everybody else. They've got the same job opportunities and the same choice as everybody else in society. So if they want to, because when I was at when I went to college, I was told, oh no, you can't work with people with disabilities. You know, you work in a cafe. You know, and cleaning tables and taking away cups and that to the kitchen. And I proved them wrong, because I actually then did get a job and volunteering in the company helping people with disabilities.
Wow, good for you, yeah.
I worked in a special school with young children. I then went on to work for the company I mentioned before, doing lots and lots of work for them and being a trustee for them. And I think that makes you feel more part of society and makes you feel more that people accept you in society if they can see that you're just the same as everybody else.
Definitely.
But I still think they need to be more understanding of people with disabilities and more supportive.
Yep, definitely. And I think more and more, I have, this is the whole reason I started my YouTube. You know, if we break down barriers with disability and have the more and more resources for disability awareness, then it'll lead to a whole window of opportunity when it comes to acceptance.
Exactly, and people accept you then better because they think you're the same as everybody else, like we mentioned in the other question. You know, that it's about people sadly, people like to see that you're the same as everybody else, and I suppose then it gets people to see that you're the same if you've got a paid job or you're doing something to help in society, and it makes you feel better as well, I think.
Right. And you don't have to be, another thing that I think that's important, you don't have to be paid to make an impact on society.
No, you don't know.
So if you are a young person who is watching my channel and this came across this video, hi, nice to meet you, I'm Anna. And if you would like to make an impact on YouTube or be a disability advocate in whatever way, there's multiple ways you can do that. You can be a YouTuber, you can put a channel like mine, you can go up to a random stranger at school and be like, hi, my name is so-and-so, nice to meet you. I have a party, for example. And then you can tell them maybe what that is or maybe what you need. That is making an impact on society. So you don't have to make this huge you don't have to make this huge difference in society to make it noticeable. I mean that's
what I agree. Even the small thing really helps.
Yeah.
You know, like even when I help my friend, you know, just help her get a cup of tea if she can't reach the worktop. You know, that makes me come home and feel proud that I've done something small, even though for somebody else it might be such a small little thing to do. But to that person, I've made her day because I've actually helped her to get something without asking for a carer.
Yeah, I definitely agree because it's about the little things that make you happy and content about your life, and it doesn't have to be something huge, and it doesn't. The whole world doesn't have to know that you did it. Knowing that you inside, you knowing that you did it is enough to make a big impact.
Exactly, I agree with that, and
Yeah.
I think that makes you feel better and it helps other people.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it should be about.
Yep, and then that person that you will help will hopefully pass down, you know, the information that you taught that individual or the life lesson that you taught them or whatever. They will probably learn something from you too. So it's a two-way street.
And then you feel pleased because you've learnt somebody else to do something good out of your little deed.
Yeah.
You know, you've helped make somebody else's day better. Like my carer said to me, you know, going to see my friend because of the current situation we're in around the whole world.
Right.
You know, it made me feel odd sitting in the garden to sit in 2 meter distance. But as my carer said, you know, it actually made her day because she hadn't seen anyone. You know, so even that small thing, and I made her laugh as well.
Yeah.
So,
that's good.
In fact, I made her laugh more than my carer makes her laugh. So
that's even better. But thank you guys for watching this video. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. We would love to have you in my YouTube family. We are almost at 320 subscribers. Would love to hit it. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button right down here.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no worry. I'll edit that point out. No worry.
Yeah, my phone died.
Oh, bad. I hate when that happens, but I'll edit that point out. No worry. But as I was saying, thank you so much for watching this video. If you are new here, subscribe the button down below. Like this video, and if you have any opinion about in the comment, and I will either send them on to Kenneth, or I'm sure you.
Yeah, I was just about to say that if anyone has any questions to ask me, message them to Anna, and then Anna will pass them on to me.
Yep, or you.
And I will answer them in the best way I can.
Yep, or you can write them in the comments, and Kenneth can probably, I don't know if you read my comments, you can.
Yeah, I can on YouTube, yeah.
On the video, and he can reply.